Hello everybody, I'm Dr. Kim. Today I want to introduce a very special event which happened on October 13, 2019 in Seoul, Korea. There was Neobiotech World Symposium. I was supposed to do the live surgery, but there was a change in the middle of the surgery. So you will see maybe your word first time live patient implant placement by patient himself. From now on, I'll show you the full clip which was taken from one of the participants in the podium. Let's check it out. Patient have missing tooth number 16. It's healed. Is it healed leech? Today's live surgery will demonstrate step by step how the VARO guide actually works in our practice, from indexing, design, milling to placing an implant procedure. So let's meet the patient and move on indexing the pre-guide. Yes, the patient for today's live surgery thankfully agreed to open his personal information. I'm sure many of you are very familiar with his face. Now I'll introduce our patient and begin preparing the pre-guide. So today's patient is please welcome Dr. Ho Young-gu. I think most of you are surprised. He was right here on the stage just a few minutes ago, and he is sitting in the dentist chair as a patient, just like a magic. Doctor, please say hello to the audience. Great to see you, everybody. I rushed down here as soon as I finished my lecture. Currently, I have missing tooth number 16, so I decided to allow myself for Dr. Kim to perform live surgery on me today. Yes? Could you hand over the mic to Dr. Ho again? Excuse me, Dr. Ho. As a surgeon, always operating on others, so how do you feel right now being a patient? Well, I have great trust in Dr. Kim, but sitting here today, I'm pretty nervous and a little bit concerned. Well, anyway, I wish you the best, Dr. Kim. For us, treating our colleagues is not an easy thing, especially when they are our seniors. But I have no doubt that Dr. Kim will do great today. Then first, start with the pre-guide indexing. Yes, please prepare the trial tray. So now I have the trial tray in my hand. I'll be using PGS1313 for this case, and I have the identical trial tray here as a PGS13. The step is very crucial. On side number 16, positioning the PGS guide. Slightly right down, please. Taking a bite registration stage. Okay, please give me the PGS13. This step is very important. I'm using VARO guide myself. Before the actual use of pre-guide, we want to make sure the guide is positioned perfectly. So we test beforehand by fitting the trial tray. PGS13S, is it? Yes, PGS13. I'm going to open the PGS13. So as I open, you can see the thin vinyl layer, and inside is filled with the composite resin material. It's a weight curing resin, is it? Well, the term may be quite difficult, but it's simply a pre-guide for single or tooth numbers 10 and 30, means right upper and the left lower. Then press firmly for indexing and obtain the bite registration. So curing resin on both buccal and occlusion side for 20 seconds each. Because it's a light curing resin, first cure resin on the buccal side for 20 seconds. So curing a buccal and occlusion surface all together. Harden the resin for accurate indexing using the curing light for 20 seconds. Open your mouth. This patient is a dentist, knows how to properly bite down, but often patients unevenly bite down and may lean to one side. So take into this consideration. Now I'm putting into the cold water for cooling. So cooling the composite. So cooling of the slightly heated resin contracts the light curing resin and prevents deformation. So re-indexing one more time. Now I'm going to cure the lingual side. Well, as a patient, Dr. Ho, you look a little nervous there. He just made a V sign with his finger, a V sign. So 20 seconds for the lingual side as well. Yes, I'm doing for 20 seconds. So pretty good indentation, very rigid and stable. Now I'm going to cure next to the zig, curing one more time on the inner side. How long are you going to do for the inside? So I'm going to do for 20 seconds as well. So 20 seconds of curing is enough to harden the resin. So we are showing this surgery in real time without any use of video clips or effects. So I'm going to cooling once more again. So I'm going to remove the clip that has there for protect the jig. Removed. Next, I'm removing thin plastic tape layers over here. Yeah, I think it's a thin lap that prevents the resin from entering the undercuts of the indexing. I'll check the fit again. Pushing the pre-guide first perfectly inside the mouth. Well, in fact, you can feel an obvious clip when sitting the guide. Open your mouth. Yeah, the patient is actively participating in the surgery. I'll remove the excess here later on. Open your mouth. Bite down again. Well, for now, Dr. Ho will now go on to get a CT scan. The reason for placing a piece of gauze is between teeth during the CT scan is to prevent uneven bite contact that can slightly change the position. Now straight to CT scanning. He's entering the CT room while biting the pre-guide. Please go ahead. Actually, I asked Dr. Ho if he extracted number 16 for today, but he said he wasn't. Normally, it takes a while for the CT scan data to be saved, but if it's linked to the VARO guide software, the data comes through immediately, like automatically. So I assume it'll take about 2 minutes from now on. CT scanning, then reconstruction, and then save, it'll take about that much of time. So everyone on the left of the stage, the timer is displayed to count every second. You can check the screen to see the total surgery time up to this point. Yes, CT scanning started just now. Now once the scanning is complete, the next step will be the moving CT data to the software and start planning. After planning, it'll go through the milling process. So while guide is being milled, I'll put Dr. Ho under local anesthesia. And as a patient is here with us today, so I'll discuss with the patient and plan together. So as with many other software, it takes time to adapt to the system, perhaps for about a month. So the more we use, the faster it gets and becomes skilled. At first, it'll take a while, but once we become get used to, I'm sure we'll do just perfect. So everything needs a learning curve. Everything needs a learning curve, sure. I watched Dr. Ho's lecture right here on the screen, and I agreed that in comparison to the existing guides. Such great shortening of time in a huge advantages. So another thing is that without the need for impression or model making or intraoral scanning, etc. So this is a digital method than a digital method. So this way it'll make it easier to understand the system. Yeah, because we don't need the scanning, right? The index pre-guide now goes to the package filled with antiseptic solution that we can control cross-contamination by storing the guide inside of solution. The CT data just arrived, so we now start beginning the planning. Applying crown above on the number 16 and positioning the implant on number 16. Then open the CT data that has been saved. So we are opening the DICOM files on the VARO guide software, planning software. So once the DICOM file is opened, we'll open the CT file through the VARO guide software. So right next to me, we have a master dental technician who is helping us. As I'm using PGS13 in this case, so this process is merging with the tray. The patient gets a CT scan, and the scan tray is used for merging. So as you see here, the 5 or 6 radiographic markers, in this case there are 5 markers, so we combined 3 out of 5 markers for merging. So when we merge the 3 points, the PGS13S is finally merged onto the CT data. So this treatment is going from pathetic driven, so-called top-down method. So first positioning the crown and adjusting direction and angulation. With just one click of the DICOM file, the CT data is available. So we register new patient. For C, the tooth positioning from occlusal surface view, we remove the mandible and only looking at the maxilla. So here we check the position we want for the tooth, considering the prosthesis. Check the position. So of course we can freely adjust the size and angle of the tooth in the software. As we confirm the positioning of the tooth, the implant is automatically positioned in place. So we are doing it right now. Once again, first register the patient, open CT data, merge the tray on the CT data, then place final restoration on the tooth. It appears as green here. The implant is automatically positioned, depends on the tooth position. And then we can touch on the details. So can you display the lower teeth below here? So looking at the lower arrangement. So checking the relationship between lowers through the cross-sectional view. Yes, but I feel extremely pressured right now. The patient is watching every moment we make during planning. What's the size of the implant? Not bad at all. Looks like a pretty simple case. So medial distal width is a bit narrow, so what about using 4.5 diameter and 10 mm fixture? I want 5 in diameter, please. Surgeon and patient is having a debate. So I want to plan for 4.5 by 10, but Dr. Ho demands 5.0 and 10 mm implant. So I might modify the plan to 5 to 10 mm. So Dr. Kim, is the case science classification CMI 2 or 3? So residual bone height is about 9 mm. With a little bone graft, I think class 3 will be the appropriate. Well, the 9 mm of residual bone, so we can either obtain CMI classification 2 or 3, but patient first demanded a different implant size. Now he asked to perform bone graft as well, so I'll do it as a CMI classification 3. So planning toward the front like that will allow direction to be more visible. Let's make a 12 mm offset. So after finishing training, so file will be transferred to distinct file. the NC file, which works for milling machine, once the file becomes the NC file, the data will send to the milling machine, and then data is delivered, milling becomes ready to act.
NC 파일로 수정이 됩니다. 그래서 NC 파일로 수정이 되면 밀링 머신으로 이 데이터를 보내게 되고요. 이 데이터를 보내면 그때부터 이제 밀링이 시작될 수 있습니다.
We'll show you the positioning of the tray on the milling machine and how it goes through the milling process. So I'll now put the patient numb. The file that is created on the software is called STL file. Once the STL file is sent over the milling machine, it changes to NC file. The STL files is transformed to NC file automatically when delivered to the milling machine. So in order to automatically enable this, we can either manually copy the NC file on USB stick and insert it, or the clinic, if clinic has a good network connection, the data can be delivered via network. So we now see the sterilized pre-guide setting on the milling machine. Open the cover of the milling machine and fix the 2 points index in the polettis side and stabilize, screw tighten, then close the milling machine cover. Then are now opening the NC file, and once the file is opened, then press the start button. Very easy to do, right? Excuse me. Can I interrupt for a second? Yes, of course. This case seems... It looks like a little bit too simple. This is my first time to see my CT, and I think the bone width is wide enough, and the available bone height is about 9 millimeter. Of course, I know Dr. Kim will do a great job, for sure, and the guide will be well made, but this case looks just too easy, and I think the audience won't have much fun watching it. So idea suddenly came to my head. How do you think, what about do the surgery myself? Seriously? You didn't mention that until this morning. You just stick to the script. Are you really doing? I know Dr. Kim has always done a very good job, but guide is here. I have a lecture this morning that the guide is so accurate, and if I myself can't trust the guide, then what else can I say? So by depending on the guide, I only need to the drilling, and if anything happen, I have Dr. Kim next to me, right? So Dr. Kim can finish the work, and if anything goes wrong, he got my back. Self-implant placement? So you have great experience in placing implant, but you've never done it yourself. Absolutely. Yes, that is correct. Well, I think it's best that I do the surgery and you check the process. Well, but the audience won't have much fun in it. This is sick. If and when you need me at any time, I'll be right there. Then I go as far as I can, and if anything goes wrong, I'll hand it over to you. Sounds good? Well, let's see how it goes. Well, though I've never done this before, but I'll trust the guide, so please be present beside me. Let's do this. Alright, so the operating surgeon has changed it. So let's begin preparing for the surgery. So I'll go ahead and put on the sterile gown. Wow. Why isn't this the beauty of the life surgery? Unexpected changes. So self-implant placement using VARO guide from Dr. Ho by Dr. Ho. Let's do this. Now he's washing his hands. While they prepare for the surgery, myself as a VARO guide user, milling will spend approximately 8 to 10 minutes. So now milling tool is now removing the upper part of the pre-guide and creating a hole for the implant placement. Oh, I think it's the first time that I see a clinician placing implant on himself with the guide on live surgery. A great devotion just for the pleasure of the audience. It makes us really nervous just by watching it. Both the surgeon and the patient are wearing scrubs and now wearing surgical gloves. So the patient is also wearing a surgical cap, surgeon's cap. It sounds like a milling machine is making a big noise, but it's because the camera is near the device, the sound isn't that loud in the clinic usually. Alright, let's get ready. I need a mirror, big size mirror here. So we'll be placing 5mm and diameter and 10mm long implant. So be prepared for sinus lift and bone graft. So bone graft for about 3 times with the SCA bone carrier. And let's do all be like usual surgery. So yes, the sinus will be elevated about 1 or 2mm and then sinus graft. So when you're back, now we'll go for the facial disinfection. So they are now preparing for face draping. So to control infection, they are using a chlorhexidine solution and suckling outward for facial skin disinfection. To sum up, this is a case of missing tooth number 16. It's either a semi-classification 2 or 3. So placing a longer implant will make clear 3. And with the 9mm vertical available residual bone. And they're going to use 5 in diameter, 10mm in length implant fixture will be placed. Sinus will be lifted for about 1 or 2mm. And inside of the sinus, the bone graft for 2-3 times, and plan to be achieve sinus classification, semi-classification 3 in this surgery. And Dr. Kim is now delivering local anesthesia. I'm preparing for local anesthesia. The patient just asked me to make it less painful. Yeah, he sounds like so desperate. So everybody feels nervous when undergoing anesthesia. Dr. He is no exception. Hang in there. Do you feel pain? Are you okay? They're currently delivering local anesthesia. In the meanwhile, I'd briefly share my experience with the VARO guide. In Korea, elderlies are covered by implant insurance, government insurance, and quite a number of them often refuse to have bone graft. So in such a case, the advantage of using a guide is that we can plan the position, the implant precisely in between bones. So this way we can place implant without the bone graft. Now he's delivering the anesthesia to the polettis side. I think we need a mirror in the front for drilling. Can someone bring a mirror? So while the guide is being milled, so we are preparing the patient. Everything all right? Can you ask Dr. Ho if he feels pain? Yes, I just asked him, and he says he's okay. So please prepare a mirror here. For anesthesia, did you use 1 ampoule? I used 2 ampoules. So please give him the mic. Yes, we are now ready to begin. We are planning to place 5mm diameter and 10mm long implant. So I assume that the bone density will be about D233 or D232. So I'll perform the sinus elevation and do the bone graft if possible. Then I'm going to place 5 diameter and 10 millimeter in length implant. So we expect the bone density to be a D2 in the crestal, D3 in the middle. And if the implant passes through the apical or tubing by cortical fixation, we expect D2 in the apical inferior area. The milling machine is still working. It looks like it's on the final stage. So milling for a few more minutes. Because I need to see for myself, I won't cover my face with the surgical drapes. So instead of I have my face surface disinfected, from here I look into the mirror and perform the surgery. Locate the mirror here, more towards the back, a bit more, slightly this way. So if I do this, move overs. So a little to the side. Okay, so can someone help him? So perhaps it's better with the bigger mirror. The mirror seems a bit too small. Well, for now we start from here. So everyone ready back there? Oh my God. So is it ready yet? A few more minutes. To be honest with you, I'm a little nervous, but I'm familiar with using mirrors. So I think I can do the drilling myself looking through the mirror. And I know the VARO guide will guide me along the way, so I'm not too worried about it. So I'm sure it's an unusual image. So we are almost ready here. I can't think anything that goes wrong, and Dr. Kim is right beside me. So if anything does go wrong, he's here to help. So I only do the procedure that uses the guide, and hopefully Dr. Kim will take over for the rest, like bone grafting and others. Yes, you can't do it yourself. Is it almost done? The guide is still milling, so we are all prepared for the surgery here, and the patient is under anesthesia. Perhaps a bigger mirror would be nice. Can you find a bigger one? Alright, is everybody feeling a little concerned? Do you think I can do this? It's a historic moment and definitely a rare situation. So lean it again here, down here, hold it there, and slide it to the side. Okay, great. Set the writing once more. Okay. So the drilling procedure will be like always. So we'll first start with the tissue punching, soft tissue. And use a bone planer. Then initial drilling. Then start with the 8.5 drilling up to 4.5 millimeter. Then use a S-limer. Now we'll move on. Okay, everybody ready? So alright, could you put the milling on screen? The milling process just being completed, and we are taking out the index pre-guide out of the machine. Put it inside on the package. So inserting the pre-guide into the antiseptic solution until we use it for the surgery. So we'll keep it inside the solution. Now when the guide is here, I'll test the fitting first intraorally, then move on from there. Is the guide ready? Yes, it is. So please hand it over to me. Over here, open it. They are taking out the guide from the antiseptic solution. Bring it over here. Cleansing the residual solution with the saline, and then relocating into the mouth, inside the mouth. So the guide is nicely milled as planned. Oh, design looks good. Alright, I'll do it. I'll put it in. Please understand that this is the first time also. How's the stability? It fits very well. I think I can do this without holding the guide. First, tissue punch, please. First step is using the tissue punch for removing the soft tissue. Dr. Ho himself, wearing the guide we just made, the VARO guide, the fixed VARO guide, and performing the tissue punch. It has an offset of 12 millimeter, so which means that it should be drilled up to the first graduation, the marking on the Neonavi kit. So among the three markings, it should be drilled up to the highest marking, bone planar. So after using the tissue punch, he is using the bone planar with a 3 millimeter offset. So it is an instrument for trimming, like a flattening of the cranial bone. Bone planar flats the bone to prevent the drill from leaning to the side. So he's using the bone planar at this moment. So one thing for sure, and that he is well anesthetized, he doesn't feel anything. So next step is the pilot drill. The pilot drill being used has a 5.7 acting tip. Now he begins osteotomy, and now with the drill of 2.2 diameter and 8.5 millimeter length, he began the first 2.2 millimeter drill. And then the 11.5 millimeter. So he just did his own suction. 2.2 by 11.5 mid drill is being used. So this makes 11.5 minus 3. So think it's an approximately 8.5 millimeter length of the drill. Yes? I think you should relocate the tray once more. So it is now drilled up to 2.2 to 8.5 millimeter. Now we need to further continue the osteotomy side. He's using a sequentially wider drill to slowly widening the osteotomy. So incrementally widening the osteotomy with the drill. So now the regular size final drill, 4.0 by 11.5 being drilled. So sequence of drilling in L-shaped order. So first achieving the optimal depth, then widening the diameter. Correct. The VARO guide is perfectly stable. The VARO guide is perfectly stable inside the mouth. There's no need for... So now the final drill. So now the final drill is being used. So we'll be placing a 5.0 diameter and 10 millimeter length implant. So final drill should be inserted slightly more. So now moving on the S-limber with the 9 millimeter stopper. So in order to open the inferior cortical of the sinus, we'll now use the S-limber, which is 9 millimeter stopper designed for VARO guide. I wonder, how does it feel like opening when your own sinus? Did you feel it? Did you feel the opening? So you know there's a feeling of a drop down. Usually when we're using the S-limber patient. Can you take a look? Need to go a little more. Okay. Yes, I think you got there. So let me check once more. Slightly more. Yes, a bit. Okay. Good. So if you need me to check, shall I? Yes, please, Dr. Kim.
네, 스타퍼로
Oh, he says he'll check with the stopper himself.
네.
By himself? Suction?
셀프 석션 하시고
Self-suctioned.
알겠습니다.
Open your mouth.
탑죠?
Suction, please.
오케이.
네.
Yes, it's opened.
네.
네.
The sinus is opened.
네. 본그래프트
Okay, I'll.
자, 본그래프트 하겠습니다.
So please do me the bone graft. I'm gonna use the DM bone.
쓰려고요. 이거는
As you know, it's an alloplastic bone substitute material.
네.
Open your mouth.
자,
Open your mouth. Are you okay?
괜찮으세요?
Do you feel anything coming into your nose? So please prepare the DM bone, please.
지금 본그래프트 하도록 하겠습니다. 자,
So-
스타퍼를
Connect the stopper, please.
네.
So after opening the sinus with the S-limber,
연 다음에
I as well often use physiological saline to see if there is any microperforation inside the synovial membrane.
확인하곤 합니다.
Bone graft one after another into the sinus. The bone graft material is the DM bone and the allograft.
DM본을 사용하고 있습니다.
So we don't need a lot of grafts, so I'll insert only 3 times.
이게 3번 정도로 나눠서 하고
정리하자면
To sum up, we use the tish punch and the bone planer, then osteotomy, first the lengthening, then the widening, sequentially in an L-shaped order. Then we use the S-limber from the sinus kit, and now performing bone graft
하고 있는 과정입니다.
into the sinus.
다시 가이드를 바로 가이드 놓치시고
Relocating the VARO guide.
자,
So I was going to continue on the next step, but Dr. Ho insisted that he will place the implant himself.
직접 찍겠다고 또 그러고 계십니다.
네.
자,
So the final drill.
파이널 드릴 하고 있습니다.
저희가 이제 4.5에
So up to now we achieved the 4.5 to 8.5 site and need the final drill. We'll drill up to our full length, 10 millimeter.
네. 승입되는 임플란트는
So plan is placing 5 millimeter diameter and 10 millimeter length implants. So planned by the patient, of course.
환자분이 계획하신 겁니다.
So can you open for 5 millimeter and 10 millimeter, 5 millimeter, 10 millimeter implants?
네, 지금
Now we'll insert the implant into a device called Ocell Active, which removes carbon from the implant surface and achieves the implant to be hydrophilic. The implant will remain inside here for 45 seconds, and while it remains, carbon concentration will be reduced and the implant surface will become hydrophilic. So this is what the device does. If VARO guide has not been launched today, I'm sure this device would be the main focus on the symposium. In this afternoon, Professor Jae-hoon Lee will talk about this implant surface activation in his lecture.
플라즈마 시스템 안에 들어가서 오스테오
So you're looking at the osteoactive process occurring inside the plasma system. It takes about 45 seconds, and the carbon in the surface to be eliminated and result in a hydrophilic surface. So it took about 32 minutes from pre-guide indexing up to this point. So you can find the timer running on the screen to your right side. Just past 33 minutes. The implant is removed after 45 seconds, so taking out the implant from the device. So right after coming out from the osteoactive, the implant is being connected to the engine. It completed with surface treatment. Yes, you see. If you can zoom in a little bit, the surface immediately pulling up water to the top. So we see that very clearly.
예.
Now it's time for insert implant. So with the improved adaptability, the surface drags saline and blood wedge much better. Inserting the implant like that at once is really not easy even with the mirror front. You have to check the depth. Should be a little deeper. So let me know when you need a torque wrench. Alright, the implant has been successfully placed. Now he's connecting a torque wrench. Incredible. Just like that at once, that wouldn't be possible if I were him. Shall I take over for torque wrench? I think that would be a good idea. So I think it is very difficult to make it seated at once. Okay. I thought I came here to do the surgery, but I guess I'm here to use a torque wrench today. Alright, at this moment. So Dr. Kim, after you use a wrench, tell us what the initial stability values look like. I will. Hold on, I think it's a different one. Isn't this for the IT type? Yes, it seems so. That kit has an IT type latchet as well as IS type. So we placed an IA3 active implant. Yeah, that was the case. He noticed the difference. The torque wrench was for IT type. So we'll relocate the guide first and try to connect it again, if it's perfect. I'll do the torque wrench. You want to do it by yourself? Using the torque wrench now. About 30 to 40 Newton centimeter. Unbelievable. He pointed out the difference. So they will keep trying to insert the IT type, and he sensed to the error. And now the correct one is being inserted. So how's the initial stability? Very good, very stable. Friction with the guide may affect the stability, so the actual rear initial stability could be a little less. I'll measure the value once again without the guide in place. So VARO guide was removed to measure the final initial torque value directly from the implant. So without the guide, I'll insert the torque wrench, half rotation. The torque value is about 40 Newton centimeter. Very ideal initial stability value, isn't it? So should I reverse it a bit? I will reverse the torque and set it to about 30 to 40 Newton centimeter. So alright, I'm reversing to finalize it to 40 Newton centimeter. So now, can you take a periapical radiograph from here? So we'll now take a periapical radiograph. The time? Let's see. I was standing right beside you. 38 minutes have passed. 38 minutes and 30 seconds. So polettis isn't deep enough for film. The post-operative briefing will be covered by Dr. Jungmin Kim in his lecture this afternoon, including the post-op radiograph, etc.
인코드 힐링 어바트먼트.
So, Omai, do we have an encoded healing abutment? Before we move on, I want to take a panoramic radiograph. Do we have the gutter puncture field to the guide?
자, 이제 서지컬 가이드.
On the surgical guide,
자, 지금
a periapical radiograph was taken, but his palate wasn't deep enough that we only see the upper portion of the radiograph. So from here, the depth seems appropriate. From here, the depth seems good. During planning, guide was designed to place 1 to 1.5 millimeters subcrestally. So Dr. Ho will now take a panoramic radiograph while wearing the guide filled with a radio-opaque marker. So this way we can check the implant position and how the sinus elevation will look like. So again, VARO guide hole will be filled with the gutter puncture to be visible in panorama. Is it ready? So once they are ready, we'll take a panoramic radiograph. Go ahead. See you in a bit. While he's taking a panoramic radiograph, I'll briefly sum up what we did today. So we first performed the indexing, and with the index pre-guide, took a CT scan, then planned from that. So after planning, milling was performed, then brought into the patient and placed an implant. First with the sequential drilling, then used the assay kit through the VARO guide, specially designed for the guide, then open the inferior cortical of the maxillary sinus, then grafted bone, and finally place the implant. So now we'll check the path of implant. Once we do this, we'll connect the healing abutment. Are you planning to scan once the encoded healing abutment is connected? Yes, if time allows, I'll scan the encoded healing abutment and also fabricate milling of temporary restoration.
여기서 밀링 할 수 있으면 임시차를 한번 밀링을 해보려고 지금 생각하고 있습니다.
아, 네.
So anytime loading of restoration can be possible if there is a sufficient initial stability. Until yesterday, our original plan was only up to the placing an implant. However, this morning Dr. Ho told me that he would want immediate loading if he achieved initial torque value of 40 to 50 Newton centimeter. And here I have the intraoral scanner ready, so we'll show you that if time allows. The time starting from the pre-guide indexing has now passed 41 minutes and 50 seconds. Now 42 minutes. The remaining time for live surgery is about 1 minute and 15 seconds. Then I will show you guys to the panoramic radiograph and record the rest of the surgery. Perhaps make it available later on. Is the panoramic radio out yet? So we would like to see the healing abutment be connected. Alright, I'll do that. Yes. So with zoom in. This is before the surgery. And this is the post-operative panoramic radiograph. Incredible. You can see the implant ideally positioned as planned, exactly engaged to the inferior cortical, and a thin layer of bones raised into the sinus. That's a huge clap from the audience here, Dr. Kim. Thank you. Well, I haven't done much really. So we'll go ahead and use the intraoral scanning. Yes, you would like to say that. So please give me the scanner, please. So we can prepare the planning the restoration once we connect the encoded healing abutment and scan the area. Wow, I've just noticed that Dr. Ho's mandibular teeth are mostly gold crowns. Most of them? Air, please. As you all know, gold crowns are not easy to scan. I'm changing the serialized tip. Yeah, the tip of the scanner is replaced. So the result is very good. Actually, it would be nice if patient comes in and places implant by himself.
출자 입장에서
So it could be very convenient for the surgeon. I didn't know that Dr. Ho had this many gold crowns in the mandible. All of them. Well, don't say that you want to do it, but do them yourself. Dr. Ho just asked me for the remaining teeth treatment, but I'm not worried that he wants to do them himself again. So you can film the screen over here. So show us the screen. Wow, quite a number of gauze.
네, 골드 크라운 스캐닝하는 게
Scanning gold crown is not easy. Dr. Kim, could you share us some tips for scanning gold crowns? Yeah, sure. Gold crowns are difficult to scan. So, because they have relatively high reflection from the metal surface, I suggest you move the scanner very slowly while scanning gold crowns. So now I'll move on the maxillary teeth. Open your mouth. Well, in the maxilla there is only one gold crown. So show screen again. So this is the scanning process, and now we are looking at the screen. So what we need, the proximal surface for the proximal contact. So I finished the scan roughly. Now before I scan the scan body in the maxilla, I'll first scan the occlusion, like a lateral wide shot first. Open your mouth, please. Open. And now close your mouth. Close your mouth. So I'm going to start the scanning of the occlusion, lateral wide shot. So now we scan the occlusion. I think we need to scan more. I think we need to scan more of the maxillary buccal surface. I'll add some more buccal surface. Dr. Kim is adding some more buccal surface on the maxilla. So this time is now 47 minutes, 39 seconds. So now I'll connect the encoded healing abutment. So encoded healing is composed of two pieces. Open your mouth. Screwdriver, please. So after you complete this stage, can we ask for Dr. Ho's interview, please? Scan pin? Yeah, scan pin, please. So the encoded healing abutment is normally in two pieces, but for scanning, we make it into three pieces. This way we can extend the length to reduce the angulation error on CAD software. So now I'm connecting the scan pin onto the encoded healing abutment. Wait a minute. It's never easy to treat the senior colleagues. That's quite a bit of tension. Right, I connect the encoded healing abutment and scan pin. Now I'll scan the scan body. Open your mouth, please.
네.
Again, Dr. Kim is scanning the encoded healing abutment. So place this flat notch to the palatal or buccal side. Now we finished the scanning. Alright, we completed the scanning process. I'll remove the scan pin so we can interview the patient. Thank you. I don't know who should I thank for. Thank you, Dr. Namyoon Kim. Well, I was only reciting over the surgery, both Dr. Kim and Dr. Ho. We are sincerely thankful for such a wonderful life surgery. I appreciate it once again. So the healing abutment is connected inside the mouth. We'll have brief interview. Oh, I forgot to do the any check. So we had more than 40 Newton centimeter. I don't think we need it. So I have a question. As a patient, how did you feel about using VARO guide? Tell us about your experience. Well, as a doctor, everything went so easily, but really my own bone, that was quite a new feeling. And seeing a lot of blood of my own made me a little bit nervous. But because of the VARO guide, I could successfully place the implant with great accuracy. So I was sort of looking forward Dr. Kim performing surgery on me, but well, that didn't happen. Anyways, I'm very happy that it turns out very well. Then as a patient, can you tell us a little more about the advantages of VARO guide? Well, I mentioned them all in my lecture, but first the guide was very stably fixed inside of the mouth, so I didn't have to bother holding it. However, I highly recommend holding it for better stability while you're drilling and for greater accuracy. But in this case, Dr. Kim made an extremely precise indexing, so it was very stable on the tooth. So I'd like to compare it with the planning, but the implant was inserted exactly as planned. So 1 millimeter into the sinus and above 2 millimeter of the bone sinus graft. The surgery was nearly perfect. Well, I can't keep on going live, so I'll quickly fabricate the temporary prosthesis, the temporary illustration with the scan data, wear it in, and return to the venue. I'll see you there. Then we'll see you in the afternoon with the restoration successfully delivered. So you two did an excellent job. Please give them a big round of applause. Excellent job, both of you. So it was amazing live surgery, isn't it?